stay conservative, run the ball here on third down.
Here's Richardson. He takes it in for his first NFL touchdown. And Pittman takes it inside the 20, the 10, towards the end zone. Touchdown on 2nd and 28. The Colts capitalize. Richardson to Pittman, 39 yards.
Yo. What's up, everybody? We are kicking with the crew. Appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Yeah, man, just been a busy weekend for me so far. Got my guys Zach and Trev with me.
What's up?
How y'all doing tonight, man?
Good. Chilling, man. Drinking a few cold ones for the boys.
Yes, sir. Hey, did you guys watch either the Fury fight or the USFL game or UFL football games today?
Missed them all, bro. Missed them all.
Been working.
Didn't watch them either, huh?
No, I'm on leave right now, so I'm chilling, enjoying my time. But no, I don't keep up with boxing like that. I didn't even know he was fighting until you said
I thought you did. Earlier. I thought you did, Trev. I thought you were big time.
I'm a big UFC guy. Dame is the big boxing guy. I can't keep up with it, man. I know like 5 guys, and whenever I see them box, I'm like, all right, but I don't keep up with it like that.
I thought you were big on boxing. Yeah, I only watched a little bit of the UFL Showboats game versus Michigan, the Michigan Panthers, and then I did see quite a bit of the Fury fight. It was hilarious. Fury should have stayed retired. He was getting whooped.
That's got to be it, huh? He's got to go away now.
Yeah.
Hey, if Mike Tyson can fight Jake Paul,
which he shouldn't,
Tyson Fury can fight whoever the hell he wants to fight.
You know what?
I just read where Tyson is going to fight Jake Paul, and he literally has it set up to 8 2-minute rounds. He requested that from the Texas Fighting Association or whatever that is, Nevada Fighting Union or whatever it is, wherever they have that fight. So
I wish he would have just stayed away because I don't think he should be fighting Jake Paul. I think what Jake Paul is doing is a crime. It's a crime. Shouldn't be being done. Don't really like it.
Scheme though. I tell you what.
I mean, it's
if you're athletic and you got even a little bit of hands, you just got to start calling out these old guys and try to take them out one by one. Make a ton of money. And I mean, everybody's gonna hate you, but I'm sure it doesn't bother him none with how his bank account's looking.
I'm gonna say when them checks roll in, do we really care who's saying what?
Yeah, you can say whatever, man. I get paid that much. I'll be just fine.
Yeah,
man. But real quick, so our guy Zach, he has something he wanted to get into here that was coming from the pro football
PFF.
No, it's not PFF.
Pro Football Network.
Pro Football Network. Yeah, that's what it was. They had put out a ranking on who was their top 10 defensive tackles, doing their ranking from the previous year. And I'm going to get this up here real quick.
So anyway, boys and girls, I saw this. It was probably about, Monday, Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah.
Something like that. I saw this at work, scrolling mindlessly, and I was in a meeting. And I was like, hold on, like, stop the bus. Like, I saved it to my phone, and I tagged it and said, yo, hey, this is crap. Can we put this on the show so I can tear this list apart? So
so basically everybody out there, Zach had saw this list and he did not like the rankings as far as he was concerned, and he especially did not like where DeForest Buckner was ranked. I know it's not the best, it's not the most clear, so my apologies. Tried to get what I could off of there. Actually, it doesn't look as bad as it did at first. But the rankings here, we got Chris Jones rated at number 1 with the Kansas City Chiefs. We got New York Giants, Dexter Lawrence at number 2. New York Jets, Quentin Williams at number 3. Derek Brown with the Carolina Panthers at number 4. Cam Hayward at number 5 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So actually, Zach, that's where it changed. So this list is what I found today. When you sent that list, it was Jeffrey Simmons at number 5.
Yeah.
Damn, so they dropped him down.
Yeah, and then it was Cam Hayward at number 6, Jalen Carter with the Philadelphia Eagles at number 7, DJ Reader with the Lions at number 8, Christian Wilkins number 9 with the Raiders, and number 10, Christian Barmore with the Patriots. So as you can see, basically what they did was they just swapped, dropped Jeffrey Simmons back, moved Cam Hayward up to 6.
That's crazy.
Kept the list there. So that was the list of what they had. So if you want to comment on that a little bit and where you were at with that.
All right. So I don't argue. After Aaron Donald retired, Chris Jones, the best three technique defensive tackle in the league. Like anybody who says otherwise is a homer or doesn't watch football. 2 and 3, Dexter Lawrence and Quinn Williams. Okay. All right. They're younger. They're both in their prime. They're both a part of dominant defenses. They do their job. This is where, in my opinion, I think this list is a little floozy. I refuse to put top players on bad teams on a top 10 list. I don't care. You suck. No one watches you. You're not good enough. Do better. Be better to be on a top 10 list. That's my opinion. So Derek Brown, I'm going to slide him down. We'll put him 6. Jeffrey Simmons on this list is down here at 8. That's a crime. I would put Jeffrey Simmons at 4. He's that good. I see him every year for 2 times a year. Dude's a game wrecker. Cameron Hayward, you're 35 years old. You ain't that dude anymore. You haven't been. You fell off. So right here where 5's at, I would put DeForest Buckner. I would say right there is where Defoe goes. This list has Jalen Carter. Who? What have you done in the pros, dog? What have you done? How in the hell?
He had a good rookie year, but come on. Now. Number 6
but how
is crazy.
in the hell is he a top 10 defensive tackle and he hasn't done enough? See this dude down here, Christian Wilkins, ranked all the way down here, second to last? No, that's where Christian Wilkins needs to go. And then we can slide Cameron Hayward down here where DJ Reader, Christian Barmore, and Jalen Carter go. That will put them there. I'll even put Derek Brown. I'll put him on the list over a dude like DJ Reader. DJ Reader is a 2-down defensive lineman, and he's not even the best nose tackle in the NFL. That's Grover Stewart. Media will tell you that. Stats will tell you that.
It's just fact.
It's fact. How in the world are you going to put a Grover or are you going to put a DJ Reader over a guy like DeForest Buckner?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too. I mean, you could debate the rankings of like the top 5 guys. I mean, like the top 5 or 6 DTs in the league, all very, very talented, very good guys, right? And you can debate that however you like. To not even have DeForest Buckner on the list or even mentioned, you're not watching. You're not watching football. You're not being.
This is why sports media get shit on because outrageous takes like this. This is trash. Like, all I ask for fans to do is educate themselves. DeForest Buckner had the highest pressure rate in the NFL behind Aaron Donald.
That's insane.
You got double teamed more than any 3 technique in the league outside of Aaron Donald last year and put up 8.5 sacks and a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, anything, and in my opinion, after Chris Jones is debatable.
Yeah, 100%.
That would be fair. You're not going to hear
2 to 10
me.
is a debate.
Yeah. I mean,
Buckner is in it.
Buckner needs to be in this list. And the fact that he's not is kind of trash.
Especially if this is based on just last year. Like Cam Hayward obviously has had a good career, but last year he didn't do shit. He was injured.
He was hurt.
35
He was
years
hurt
old.
all year. Yeah.
So if this is last year, then get him out of here. And if it's not last year and it's entire body of work, then guys like Christian Barmore and Jalen Carter, how are they even on there? They don't have a body of work yet. So no matter which way you spin it, DeForest Buckner is at the very least removing, homerism, removing bias. At the very least, he's got to be 7.
Has
at the
to.
very least.
At the minimum, he's on this list at 7.
And I got a top 5.
Right. I'm not even a Titans fan. Not even a Titans fan, but the lack of disrespect they're showing a dude like Jeffrey Simmons, that's criminal. He's about the only player on the Titans who I wish was wearing a horseshoe because he's 100% certified. He's a DAAWG type of player. He's a dog in every facet of the word. And I mean, this list, I don't know who puts this list together. I don't know if fans voted on it, but come on.
They just did a random generator, I think. And
your top 3, okay, that's B+ effort. Everything after that, burn it, throw it in the trash, start again.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, and it's funny too. We're very loud about our Titans hate, right? As Colts fans, that's just kind of part of what comes with the job. But Jeffrey Simmons at 8 is criminal. I mean, this guy is, like you said, a game record. He's also a top 5 guy. I would move down. To me, I'm moving down Hayward for sure. I don't want to move down Derek Brown because he is very talented. But it's like you said, if your team doesn't win, shit, how much does it matter? So I'd put Simmons and Buckner ahead of Brown and Hayward. I'd slide them up to that 4 and 5.
I'm moving Christian Wilkins up. Like Christian Wilkins got to be up on that list, man. He's a dude. If anything, I would leave Christian Barrymore at 10 because he's had one good year and homie signed $92 million. So if you can duplicate that again going into this season and you get, 8.5 sacks and a 40 tackle for loss on the year, you're worth your salt. I can't argue with that money, but like the absolute disrespect for our probably the best 3 technique in the league outside of Chris Jones. The fact that DeForest Buckner's on this list is why I have a hard time actually crediting third-party sources when they just make baloney like this.
And it's classic coverage of Indiana sports too. Like we can have absolute dominance, absolute dogs, whatever, and they're just gonna overlook them because of the horseshoe and just keep on moving. Let's get a Patriot in there, whatever. It's a load of crap, man. We see it every year.
Yeah, man, I might be a little biased, but I'm gonna throw in mine, man. If I had to go my 10, I'd go Chris Jones at number 1. I'd go number 2. In my opinion, I think the second best D tackle in the league. I'm gonna go DeForest Buckner. I would put him at
That's
number
fair.
2.
He's that good.
Number 3 for me is I'm gonna leave Quinnen Williams in there. And don't try and kill me, everybody. I know I got some bias, but I'm putting Buckner at 2. I got Quinnen Williams at 3. I would put Jeffrey Simmons at number 4.
Yep.
I would go Derek Brown at number 5. My number 6, I would go Dexter Lawrence. My number 7, I would go Christian Wilkins. My number 8. My number 8.
It's a debate from there.
8. Yeah, my number 8. I'm gonna go Cam Hayward. I know he's a bit injured, and I know they got him higher than where I'm putting him, but I just still think he's one of those top guys. DJ Reader, I'm gonna put him in there, and then number 10, I'm gonna leave number 10 up for debate. Honestly, just because there's so many guys that I think you could put in there.
Jalen Carter, Barmore, Grover Stewart.
Yeah, I just think those are a lot of guys, depending on what you favor for your defensive tackles. But that would be my 10, man. My top 5 would be, like I said, Chris Jones, DeForest Buckner, Quinnen Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, and Derek Brown. Man, I just think those top 5, I think to me, that would be my top 5.
I would love to see this guy rank.
You know what? I'm tripping.
Go ahead.
My number 10 would be what's his name that he just left San Francisco and signed with the Jaguars?
Armstead?
Yeah, Eric Armstead. That would be my number 10.
What about Hargrove?
I think Hargraves. I mean, I like Hargraves, but I feel like he was more so I think he was just helped by everybody that was on that Eagles defensive line. Because if you look at him when he signed with the 49ers, he was not the same player that he was with the Eagles. So I just personally, I think I put Eric Armstead at 10. So if you look at the AFC South, I think we're loaded at defensive tackles.
Some dogs,
in my personal opinion.
And it's so slept on for some reason. Like this is about to be a very exciting division of football. And I feel like we're just not getting as much talk as some of the others, which, again, classic coverage, right? We're all used to it at this point. We're not going to get the same coverage as the rest of the league for whatever reason, but it is kind of ridiculous sometimes. I would love to see, though. What's up?
Oh, I was just gonna say, did want to shout out to ZTV. No, I forgot to throw that in there. Got Joshua Merchant in here. He's saying he completely agrees with you, Zach, and all of us. He thinks that that Buckner gets overlooked because people aren't seeing that he gets double teamed a lot. That's why he's not getting the big numbers. So the fact that he's getting double teamed should definitely say something. And he also loves our show. So appreciate you, Zach, Joshua Merchant. Appreciate
Shout
you.
out ZTV, bro. Yeah, I was gonna say I'd love to see what this guy ranks defensive tackle units, like the duos combined, because if you leave the Colts out of that one, you're not even trying. You're not even watching.
He has the Cleveland Browns as the best defensive line in football. Colts got
they have a great line. They have a great line, but Colts got to be in there.
They do have a great line. So this is what I also want to show you guys. So Zach, this is where the list came from and where it got changed and whatnot. So they got Chris Jones obviously as the number one. I mean, he's 15 plus sack guy, obviously unblockable, Super Bowl champion, just one of the toughest guys to be around in the league. Then number two went to Dexter Lawrence. They said he was a tremendous all-around tackle, only missed 3 games, and he's just 26 years old. So I put him a little bit higher, but that's where they had him. Quentin Williams was number 3. I mean, this dude is just a dog. I mean, without him, their defense ain't even the same.
He's great.
I just think that's that. Derek Brown up there. Jeffrey Simmons at number 5.
It's more fair.
And, I'm just going all over the place. Where are we at? Number 6 had Cam Hayward. Number 7 was Jalen Carter. 8, DJ Reader. So this is where we start getting closer to some of those out of the top 10 is where I want us to show Zach. So 10 is Barmore.
Yeah,
10 is Baltimore. Number 11 is Justin Matabuke. So
get out of here.
This was the 3 seasons. 13 sacks.
That's great.
Oh, he had 13 sacks over this past
season. If they're going off sack numbers, maybe. But they again, that's
didn't Buckner have like 8.5?
He had 8.5, but his pressure rate is 12.
So there it is. DeVorest Buckner had 81 tackles and 8 sacks. He said Buckner might be not an elite all-around tackle, but he's undoubtedly one of the best pass rushing linemen in the NFL.
In what planet is he not elite all around? I'd love to know. I'd love to know what games they're watching to determine.
Jonathan Allen, that's underrated. Vita Vea, 2-down player. I refuse to recognize 2-down players and think that they are S tier. Football anymore is becoming a 4-down, we're going to get after your ass sport. And you need defensive linemen that can make an impact on 3 out of the 4 downs. And dudes like Vita Vea, dudes like DJ Reader, they aren't that. So why recognize them when they don't do nearly as much as dudes that are?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this too, we're not looking at the situations that these guys are facing. Like Buckner absolutely faces more double teams than probably half of this list, if not more. And just the lack of respect that's given to him because of it is crazy.
Yeah, I just think it's also kind of crazy that the fact that they say he's not an all-around D tackle, but one of the best pass rushing ones in the league. But then you put guys over of them because they had high sack numbers or whatever it may be. Just think that's kind of crazy. It's also, like I said, they put Hargraves here at number 15. David Onyemata, number 16. I mean, they kept saying that the Falcons had one of the worst rush defenses, and they needed to get a
so why is he up there?
So yeah, it's just one of those funny things. Michael Pierce from Baltimore as well, top rushing tackle duo. Liam McNeil with the Detroit Lions. Eric Armstead, they got him at 19, which to me is crazy. Obviously, yeah, I guess you could say the injuries and 0 sacks, but look what it says at the end there: 5 sacks in the 12 games in his last season. Without the injuries, he's one of the top guys. So
it's interesting that we're at 20 and we haven't seen Grover Stewart yet. Because personally, I have him higher than 20 for sure.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where they got their ratings in there. Just kind of
they're not watching. They're not watching.
Yeah, you kind of feel like their ratings are kind of off on what they do. It's like for some guys they'll say sack numbers, for some guys they'll say injuries or whatever. But it's like, what are you rating? Are you rating guys off their play, off their tape, what they do on the field? Or are you just rating guys because of their name or their
Madden
sack?
ratings, I think.
Are you picking and choosing when you want to have a guy up there?
Yeah, some guys it's based off last season. Some guys it's he was good 2 years ago, so we're gonna go ahead and it doesn't make any sense, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, man, I thought that was pretty crazy. You guys had anything else on that?
No, just watch out for Buckner. He's just gonna wreck the game again all year, like he does year in, year out. I hope he sees this list though. I hope somehow, somewhere it reaches his feed and he can see that they're not giving him the respect he deserves, because he's just gonna go crazy again.
For sure. So what I did want to get into, I want to kind of get a better one of this. But basically, I have some questions for you guys on our 2024 Indianapolis Colts schedule. Wanted to kind of see where you guys' minds were at with this. I'm gonna try and put this up as well, just so you guys can see it and see what you guys kind of favor. But let's just start it off anyway. Trev, why don't you go ahead and say what do you think or what's your most favorite or game that you would say you've seen on the schedule?
Favorite game? I mean, outside of the divisional games, obviously like the Jets game is our primetime game, so I look forward to that. That should be interesting. I have our home game against Buffalo circled as a big one. I expect them to kind of take a step back, but they should still be a playoff team, and I expect us to be in that same realm. So that should be a really important late season game at home. Let's see right here. It is where is it? There it is. Week 10. Week 10 facing the Buffalo Bills at home. I think that could be a really big game for us. Also right before our primetime game. And now look at that Detroit game too. That's 3 weeks in a row. Really, really important games against potentially pretty good teams. So that's a good stretch right there.
What about you, Zach? What do you see as your favorite on that Colts schedule up there?
Well, my favorite game, the game that I'm most excited about and definitely want to watch, is Detroit. I want to see Indianapolis come out and dominate a physical football team like Detroit. And if they do that, by then, that's really essentially when the playoff picture will be picking up. We'll get a clear photo, unless Indianapolis just runs away with the division early, and we'll know by then. But to me, that's my favorite game to watch. But I believe the most important games is that first 5 weeks of the season. If the Colts don't get out to a hot start, I truly think it's going to be – this is a tough schedule, and I fully expect if the Colts don't get out to a good start, it's an uphill battle, and they could miss the playoffs again. So 11 wins, it's got to be 11 wins or bust. 11 wins, you guarantee yourself in the playoffs. Anything less than, you risk not making it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think just looking through the schedule of what we're looking at here, aside from the divisional games, right? I fully expect at a bare minimum we'll be able to split our divisional series and go 3-3. I expect 4-2 though. Drake Wally actually asked how we feel about the divisional record. I expect 4-2. I think we should be able to sweep Tennessee. And then we usually lose in Jacksonville. I'm going to assume we're going to again until they prove otherwise. And then we probably split with Houston as well. So I see 4-2 there. For sure. But one thing I do want to note out about this schedule is most of our really tough games, or going into the season on paper that we expect to be tough, a lot of them are played at home. At Green Bay, week 2 is our only game where we're playing an away game against a team that went to the playoffs last year outside of our division. So that plays into our favor, at least as it looks right now, right? Obviously, you don't know how teams are going to look. You don't know who's going to step up, who's going to fall back, whatever. But I think this is potentially a very, very favorable schedule based on the tough opponents we have and where they're at, because they're all of our tougher games are at home. So that plays in our favor.
Appreciate you, ZTV. And then as for me, man, when I look at the schedule, and what I think would the most exciting one for me, man. I think it's got to be that Detroit Lion game. If you go back, I want to say out of the last 6 games, we are 5-1 versus Detroit. The last 6 times we've played them, in pretty much every game we've played them, we've scored over 30. We haven't scored under 30, I want to say, since like 2008 or something like that when we played them. So I want to say that game for us, for me, is going to be the most exciting to me. As for Drake Wally's question, going back to the what do you think the division record will be? I do got about 4-3. I also got the record at 11-6. So just like Trev, I think that I'm not picking us to win in Jacksonville until we do it. Got to prove you gotta prove it. I said a couple years ago that the time that we could finally get it would be done. We have not done it, so I'm not picking us to win there until we get there. Drake Wally also said he's pumped for Latu and Mitchell.
Absolutely, man.
Dave Stewart says we need to beat the Bills. Since I have to live here and put up with these clowns.
Hopefully, bro.
Zach, your dad is shooting us down. He said 9 wins. No. We missed the playoffs. We suck, and Ballard is fired.
Get out of here.
Hey, if we only Pops 9 wins, 9 wins.
Come on. Anthony Richardson's back. We're going on a run. What's happening, man? 9 wins.
That's a little low. They'd have to blow some games. I think,
which is possible. We've done it before.
Certainly, but I think they win 11 because early on, I think they beat the Packers in Lambeau just because that's a game.
Don't go too far into that, Zach. We're gonna do a schedule prediction.
But I think they get off to a hot start that first month, and I think that carries over. Once they get later in the year, we'll see. I'm going to give you guys my divisional take because you guys are pretty boring at 4-2. I have the Colts going 5-1 in the division.
Who else we sweeping?
I think we sweep Jacksonville this year. I think we finally get the monkey off our back. To me, they're the worst roster in this division. Like, I respect the hell out of Tennessee's roster. Clearly, you have Houston. I think we beat Houston, or I think we beat handily Tennessee. They don't scare me. I think the worst roster in our division is Jacksonville, and I think we split with Houston being they beat us at home and we beat them at home. We won't win at home. So yeah, I fully expect us. This is the year. It's the one demon Shane has yet to exercise. I can promise you he's motivated. Right. He's going to want to come down there and bust that ass. So I fully expect us to beat Tennessee and Jacksonville this year and split with Houston.
There's not anybody on the roster, GM and coaching staff included, that has won in Jacksonville right now. I think was Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne's got to be the last one, right?
Trev, you're wrong. Gus Bradley has won in Jacksonville.
Okay, that don't count. You know what I'm saying? As a Colt. But you're right. That's the level we have to go. In 2014, he wasn't on the team.
2018.
Why was I thinking it was so much longer ago? Okay, so we got one dude. But either way, man, I don't know. It's one of those things. I'd love to agree, and I love what you're saying. But until it happens, it's like I'm just hoping for fool's gold every year. So I have to predict it's not, and then be surprised if it does.
I hope you're right, Zach. But me personally, I just don't want to piss myself off anymore. So I'm not picking us to win there. I'm always picking us to win there until it happens. I will be optimistic with everything else. If you would have said sweep Houston, I would have been more optimistic. Winning down in Jacksonville, I'm just not going with it. I'm not.
I don't think we'll sweep Houston. I think we'll split Houston and win each other's homes.
One matchup outside of the division that I want to circle to, I believe it was week 7 against Miami. I think that's an early and really quick test. Well, midseason, but somewhat early, big test for our wide receivers, for our cornerbacks against those wide receivers. I don't think we face a test bigger than that, other than maybe Houston week 1 up to that point. So that'll really be a good sign of How's our defensive back room looking by that point, by that early midseason, testing up against that really good wide receiver core?
I will
obviously
say
Tyreek
that
Hill.
Zach's dad may be right, man. This schedule, man, when we look at it, it gets pretty ugly for us. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man.
I don't think so.
Our first three games are at home, and then
GB's away.
Our first
Green Bay's away.
Is it away? Okay,
Yep.
well, yeah, but it's not snowing, so that's a good thing there. We don't go to the snow, but we have Houston at home, Chicago at home, Steelers at home, and then we go at Jacksonville, right? And then we're at Tennessee, and then we come back home to Miami. So we spend that portion on the road, and after we come back home to face Miami, we go back on the road. So that's tough, man. To go back to back at Tennessee, at Jacksonville, and then come back home to face the fastest team in the league. I feel like that's a tough stretch for us, so I don't really like that middle stretch there.
It's what I see through the first to the midseason, like the first week to the midseason. It's definitely a tough stretch. I think we go around 500 there. What I love is our pretty much the rest of the schedule after Detroit. It's all teams that, at least on paper, we're better than. So we on paper should win out from that point. Are we going to? More than likely not. But you look at the Patriots, we got a better roster than them. Broncos, we got a better roster. Tennessee, we're better than.
So you're saying
those last 5 games, yep.
Patriots, bye week, Denver, Tennessee, New York, Jacksonville. We should probably close out or at least go 5-1 there, 4-1.
Yeah, on paper, and this is all we can work with on paper, looking at the schedule. But on paper, we're better than all 5 of those teams. So we have a really good chance to finish the season on a really strong run. Now, that early season stretch and that mid-season stretch, definitely tough, especially with the late bye week. It's a lot of tough games. You can expect around 500 ball. We're probably not going to super stick out early on in the year. But I think we have a good chance to go on an outside run at the end there and get to 10, 11 wins.
Homie, after that Bills game, I really think we could go on a run. Like, we might lose a game, but I really think from week 11 to week 18, if we get hot, I see no reason why we couldn't, because like the last half of our schedule's doable. The Jets are overhyped because I unlike last year when I was sipping the Aaron Rodgers Kool-Aid, they really haven't done anything to get better.
So Zach, I would like to interject here just because I think that like the Jets may be overhyped, but that defense is for real.
It doesn't matter. That defense ain't never seen AR.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm still saying they were one of the best defenses in the league, and that's only because they had a terrible offense to work with. Then one second, and then you go to Detroit. Yeah, Detroit comes home to us. They're one of the top scoring teams in the league, no matter what. So that's going to be a tough one. As for New England, I'm not worried about a pinch in New England. They go from Bill Belichick to a rookie head coach, and then that roster, to me, in my opinion, it's not up to par. Then you got Denver, so I also agree with you there. I don't think Tennessee can no longer be slept over. I mean, obviously it'll be week 16, so you should know who they are by that point.
Yep.
They're going to be competitive, or what they were last year could possibly be worse. You don't fire a coach of the year and expect to get that much better. So still question up in the air. New York Giants, I mean, we don't know who their quarterback might be at that point. And then Jacksonville at home. We would hope at that point you should be able to close out.
Should be rolling.
Possibly get the win for a 10 or 11 point season. So I do get what you're saying, but tough part for me just to say on a run.
Oh, I don't think it's that difficult because, I mean, last year Matt Gay beat the Baltimore Ravens by himself. So I fully expect if we get another game like that, we have a kicker who can win it. Tough defense or not. Again, the last half, really after that Bills game, that's do or die time, in my opinion, for the Colts.
Yes.
Either they make the run, they get hot, they win 4 out of those last however many games there are and get a playoff spot, or hey, we're picking 15th again next year. And if that's the case, major changes
probably so
need to be made. That has the Bears, Steelers, Pats, Broncos, along with 3-3 in the conference, gives you 9. See, I think we beat
I
The
think we beat
Bills,
all of them.
Pops. I think we'll beat the Patriots, or you already have the Patriots. We'll split with that with the AFC East. We own the NFC North, so I fully expect to win the NFC North again. Yeah, I really see 11 wins. Nine wins, okay, but we always usually upset a couple teams every year.
Exactly.
We always have. So 11 wins, easy.
That's what I wanted to get to as well, because what he listed here is all the teams you expect to be gimme wins, right? We should be favored in all those games. What we're not looking at is the games that we're probably not favored in. You look at Green Bay, probably Detroit.
We're not favored. We're not favored week 1 versus Houston.
Those Texans
not favored
games.
against it, and we're gonna probably go 500 in those games that we're not favored in. We're gonna win a couple of those games and upset a couple of teams that should be better than us, and it's gonna happen to us on the other end too. But I think we come out in the positive, net positive of that. I think we win a couple games we're not supposed to, which puts us over the edge. If you're looking at just gimme wins and games that we should be heavily favored in my opinion, yeah, it's probably 9. But we're gonna win a couple games that we're not favored in and put us over the top, in my opinion.
All right, so real quick, couple fan comments jumping in here. Don't want to miss over everybody, but Jake Nelson is saying we play better on the road and the refs work in our favor more. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, that was last year we played better on the road. As far as the refs, I don't think the refs ever work in our favor personally. Isaiah Davis saying Colts Nation, let's go. Drake Wally said 5-1. Love the hell out of that. Zach, he's loving it. So Dave Stewart says, let's just hope we don't start 0-2 again.
It's not the end of the world if it happens.
If we lose that opener versus Houston, it is very likely that could happen again, because I'm not
Green Bay is going to be favored.
I feel like I should be versus Green Bay. I just think when we play Green Bay, it's always like a shootout game, but we have beat them. I want to say the last 2 times we played them with.
We've played well against
we beat them with Phillip Rivers, and then we also beat them with Andrew Luck the last 2 times we played them. So,
but it's never easy going into Lambeau. That's just what it is.
And your dad was saying he was talking about the games versus the Steelers, Bears, and Vikings and Pats, Broncos. That should give us 4-2 versus some other opponents. So that should put us in pretty good position. But real quick, so I just want to jump into this real quick. So I had some love it or hate it for you guys. Jump into a little segment there. I wish I had a little boom where I could put that up there. Love it or hate it. I could probably add that in there or something. But yeah, let's go ahead and start this off. So if you guys are looking over the schedule, matter of fact, let me go ahead and put it back up there so you guys can take a look while I'm throwing this out there. But as we can see, we got week 1 versus Houston. We got week 5 versus Jacksonville. We got week 6 versus Houston versus Tennessee at home, and then we're at Houston in week 8. That would wrap up the division for us, and that would put us in our first 8 games. Our division is pretty much wrapped up. We would only have 2 divisional games. So, Zach, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Do you love it, or hate it that we have all of our first 4 divisional games in the first half of the season?
Homie, I hate it. I hate it. I prefer to have it in the back end of the year. And the only reason why is because to me, that's really, I feel like after week 8, usually that's when it gets better. And I know the scheduling wise, they don't want to just have a bunch of divisional games in the back end. But to me, that's what gives it that college football feel like you handle your conference, you deal with your conference, you win your conference games. So you win your games in the back end, and you can clearly define, hey, this is what our football team is built upon. Because coaches and GMs have said that all before. We are only worried about winning our division. Everything else is secondary. So to me, I hate it. I would much rather see it either middle or middle end. I don't like early games because Indianapolis, if you start slow, you're doing yourself no favors.
Yes, sir. So how about you, Trev? Do you love or hate that our first half of the season pretty much wraps up our division.
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of see both angles. I liked that the entire division pretty much by week 8, we all know where we stand and we know what we have to do by the end of the season to get to the playoffs. So if we're, 500 in the division at that point, we know what we have to do. I like that, but I hate it because kind of as Zach was alluding to as well, you don't really know who your team is those first couple of weeks. And we have a lot of important games very early on. And the team that plays against Houston week 1 and week 8 is not the same team that's going to be playing for the playoffs week 16, week 17. So it's kind of a tough spot to be in where it's like you hope you're ready to go and you hope everything you've done in the offseason gives you that advantage week 1 because that's a very important game against a opponent, a division rival that's very similar to us matched up, right? So, I kind of hate that we're not the team, and neither are they, that we're going to be by the end of the season playing such an important game early on.
All right, and as for me, we'll get to State Dave's too. It's coming here real quick. We may be a shootout offense this year. I think we will. Dave, I also think we will as well. I just hope that we can get that scoring defense down so we don't have to be. But for me personally, I'm going to say I like it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. But I like the fact that we get a lot of these divisional opponents away or out of the way early just so we kind of know, like Trev said, where we stand within the division. You play pretty much all of them. You can see how each team kind of matches up with each other early. And then obviously, you won't be the same team that you are mid-season or towards the end of the season, just like we get Tennessee and Jacksonville to close out. So I think it gives us the early test on to see what we do, what we know, what we don't, and then also gives us the chance to go out and ride out on our horse to close the season. So as for me, I like it. So let's get back to the schedule real quick. Got another one for you guys here. So we got our bye, and pretty much the NFL keeps doing this to us every season. Do you guys like, love, or hate the Week 14 bye? Trev, why don't you start us off? Do you like, love, or hate that we got the Week 14 bye there?
I mean, again, I hate to keep going back and forth. I can kind of see both angles. I like having a little break that late where we get to make a big playoff push in the last month of the season. But beyond just that fact, I hate it. I hate that we're one of the teams that is going to play 13 weeks straight, no breaks. We're going to see guys get banged up. We're going to see injuries happen and not get a chance to recover during that midseason stretch where we have a lot of important games and a lot of tough games like other teams are going to get to. But what I really think the NFL needs to push to, especially if they want to keep expanding the season, we need to be looking at 2 bye weeks. We need to be looking at an early bye around week 5, week 6, whatever, and a late bye week 14, week 15, whatever. But that'd be the best way to ensure fairness across the league as far as rest and preparation and injury healing and everything. But that's what we should be pushing towards as a league. I just hate having it so far back, knowing we're gonna have guys banged up well before then.
For sure. Zach, where are you at on the bye week? Do you like, love it, or hate it?
I love it. It's what you pay guys for, right? It's where GMs find their salt, build rosters. That's why coaches coach, man. 13 weeks. You going to grind it out? Football's a tough sport, man. Mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. That comes into it. And, yeah. Can you rise to the challenge and win? So, to me, having a late bye week, sure, it might suck. That's an excuse. Let's ball out. Week 1, let's ball out. Let's handle our business week by week. And if we do that, then before they know it, the bye week will be here, Yeah. So, I don't care when the bye week is. It could be week 4. It could be week 10. It can be week 14. Like, I don't care when it is. It's 1 week without Colts football. It's the most boring week in the fall. So
I will say I do prefer having a late bye week as opposed to an early bye week. I'd be pressed if we had like week 5 bye week and then play straight into the playoffs, no break, no nothing. So it's definitely preferable having it late, but again, I think the league should be looking at 2 bye weeks in the future.
For sure. As for me, I hate it. I hate the late bye. Like, I'm not more so as far as favoring towards early or a late. I prefer it in the middle. Give me about a week. Give me about a week 8, 9, 10 bye.
Perfect.
That's where I'm good with, because like Trev said, so not even just the start of the season do you not get a break, but these guys go, from June, once you start training camp, all the way up through the season until week 14. So you get no break all the way from June until about December, to where these guys get no break. Everything is just go, 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 go. So as for some of these rookies, luckily AR is no longer a rookie quarterback. A lot of that stuff starts to press where you hit that wall. So we got to hope that this guy doesn't hit that wall where you're just going straight through and playing through everything. No break, consistently going, got a tough schedule, especially in that middle portion. You want to hope we don't hit that wall in that middle portion. So that's why I'd prefer about a week 8, 9, 10 level bye. I just hate that we get it literally the last available week to get a bye. You clearly don't want it around week 5, 6, 7. Those are just too early in my opinion, because you think you're rolling well. You're sitting at 5-1 or whatever it is. You get that bye and then it just throws you completely off. So me personally, I hate the week 14 bye.
Yeah, I'm with that.
That's where I'm at with that one. And we got Isaiah Davis here in the comments shouting out some people. Appreciate you trying to bring more viewers. I know actually 2 out of the 3 of those. Dave Stewart is saying here the teams don't really know who they are early as well. Houston has a lot of new guys. They don't know the fit of all of those guys. Yeah, so that could work in our favor.
Good.
But hey, if we lose, that kind of makes it ugly for us.
Either way, just real quick, I want to hop on that too. Either way, if I agree with what you're saying, that does it probably plays to our advantage because we have a more together and less changed roster than they do, sure. But either way, even with that, I'd love to see a early, week 4, week 5 matchup with them, and then a late season week 15, 16, 17 for the division matchup where both teams are just at their best. Because who doesn't want to beat somebody at their best? But yeah.
For sure. And I know we kind of touched on this already, so I know it's a little bit going backwards, but just wanted to put it out there for you guys. So if you guys take a look at the schedule, got another like, love, or hate it here. So I know we talked about it before, and Zach was talking about going on that run towards the end about the New England Patriots, but I'm going to leave that one out of there. You guys can include it in your mind if you want to or not. But if you look at the schedule, and we go to our week 14 bye, right? And then we close the season against Denver, against Tennessee, against the New York Giants, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars close the season. So 3 out of those 4 teams being top 10 pick teams. Do you like, love, or hate the way that we close the season with those 3 out of 3 teams out of those top 4 being top 10 picks, and then closing versus Jacksonville in Indy? Do you like, love, or hate it, Zach?
Personally, I like it. I mean, you can't control who you play or when you play them. You just win the games. So, like, the way I see it is those are the back end of the games you should be taking care of business. The back end of that Giants and Jags game, hopefully by then the Colts are taking care of business. You can rest starters. Hopefully you got the playoffs locked up. Oh, hey, Defoe's a little banged up. Guess what, boss? For these next 2 weeks, we're in the playoffs. It's guaranteed to happen. You can sit, rest, relax. You've earned it. Obviously he might not want to, but at the same time, if the Colts handle their business, I look at that specifically that last half of the year. You rest guys if the Colts have earned that opportunity to do that. If not, and they faltered in the front end, obviously those games become more crucial. And those bad teams love knocking out playoff teams, love messing with draft positions.
That's true.
So, Colts got to take care of business. It all starts first week, and then worry about the back half when you get to the back half.
For sure. All right, how about you, Trev? Do you like, love, or hate the way we close the season after that bye week with 3 of those 4 teams being obviously top 10 picks? That doesn't necessarily speak to everything, but you clearly knew where the team stood last year. And then closing with Jacksonville at home.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. I fully expect to go into that bye week looking at 8-5 on the optimistic side, 7-6 on a pessimistic side. We blew a game somewhere, whatever. But above 500, but just kind of in the mix still is where I expect us to be going into the bye week. So to be able to rattle off 3 or 4 straight and catapult us into the playoffs and maybe even give us the division, that's perfect. That's a perfect setup for us as long as the Colts take care of business, man. And I love closing the season against Jacksonville at home too. I would not want to play at Jacksonville week 17. We've seen that story play out before. Not a fan of it. So I like getting that one out of the way early on in the year. But yeah, I don't mind at all, especially if Jacksonville is able to compete for the playoffs. That week 17 matchup could potentially be a very important game for both of us.
For sure. I'm also with both of you guys. I love it, man. I love the way you close the schedule because of the fact, to me, in my opinion, I'm not sleeping on this Tennessee squad. Me personally, I think they'll be definitely a better team, but I think it also gives you a little bit to be battle tested towards the end. You obviously got Denver. You got a rookie quarterback in there. So after your bye, you go out there. You're facing a rookie quarterback. You want to be able to beat up on this guy a little bit. Show that you are ready to be a playoff team. And again, like I said, Tennessee being a division rival. You go to the New York Giants and play against, Daniel Jones or whoever. I still feel like we owe them a little bit of get back. I still don't feel right with the way they did Nick Foles. Thibodeau over there doing the snow angels next to him while he over there on the ground writhing in pain. So I like that game there. And they obviously do. They should have a pretty good defense. So I like the way. And then to close Jacksonville out at home, man, I feel like that's just a game that that should be there. I don't. It's tough for me to say, like, should we be resting and hoping to rest or not. I kind of just, I want to get that game out there just so we know where we stand. I feel like this schedule is very good. So people can say, like, if you look at where the easiest versus the toughest schedule is ranked, we have technically one of the easiest. I don't see it that way at all. I like this schedule. I like the way it's all shaped out. Obviously, some of the mix-up with some being on the road and being at home. But I will say I love the way that we end the schedule because I feel like it gives us the perfect mix between when we get our break versus when we need to turn it up and who we're going against. So I would say I personally myself, I love the way the schedule ends out for us.
And something too that I maybe I have to review the schedule again, but I don't think we face a ton of like superstar franchise quarterbacks. And to me, that does make a difference.
Last year we faced
so if you look at our schedule right now, so we start the season off versus CJ Stroud, then we head to Green Bay.
Love's getting in there. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, then we head over to
let's review this real quick.
And then we got Caleb Williams, we got the rookie quarterback.
We got Tua, Josh Allen.
Pittsburgh. I kind of laughed when I realized we were facing Russell Wilson in week 4.
I expect
it's gonna be Justin Fields. Russell Wilson's gonna get benched before then.
Maybe.
I hope we play Russell Wilson though. Then we got Trevor Lawrence week 5, Will Levis week 6, Tua Tagovailoa week 7, back to Stroud week 8. We got JJ McCarthy.
Come on!
Guessing would be starting by week 9. Josh Allen week 10. Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully he's here week 11. Man, I don't know how that offensive line. We'll see. We got the boy Jared Goff week 12.
Just got paid.
Week 13, we should be facing Drake May.
Bo Nix.
15, Bo Nix, another rookie. We got Will Levis back in week 16, week 17.
A lot of inexperienced quarterbacks.
Daniel Jones, but not too sure.
Maybe whoever their backup is. Yeah, like really CJ Stroud, Tua, if you want to put him in there, and Josh Allen, and of course Jordan Love early on. That's really the highest level of QB that we face. We don't have to deal with a Patrick Mahomes. We don't have to deal with Lamar Jackson, even though we beat him last year. Like that does make kind of a difference to me, knowing that I don't know, just not having to face those superstar franchise quarterbacks and what we expect AR to be able to do when you want a guy in the fourth quarter to be able to just light the game up. We think we have that guy, and we're facing a lot of teams that it's question marks right now. So that also plays in our favor to me.
Yeah, I think the tough part for me is that even though, we can say that we don't face a lot of tough quarterbacks, but I will say that a lot of times we make guys look like
that's true. That's true.
So
unfortunately,
we can finally come through to shake that monkey off our back as well. Like we need to be closing out guys and kind of make some of them look exactly who they are and just show like we play. How many? Like, let me look at the schedule one more time.
Play 4 rookies.
We play 1, Is it 4? So
I think it's 4.
Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy. If you want to count Levis, kind of as one.
I mean, yeah. So we're playing potentially 4 rookies, and then as the year goes, you never really know who's going to be playing and who's not. But as you can see already, you got 4 rookies. So we need to.
You
play
should
those
be able
rookies,
to beat up on that.
We need to play 4 rookies to make them look like rookies. Luckily, quarterbacks usually aren't who they are until later on in the season. So when we play Caleb Williams, we need to make him look like a rookie.
Oh yeah.
With JJ in week 9, and then obviously you got Bo Nix and Drake May later on. But both of those 2 guys I wasn't as high on anyway. So those need to be guys that we take advantage of.
And what I really want to see too, especially like with that Chicago matchup with Caleb Williams running around, one of the things he's made his living off of, and one of the reasons he went number 1 overall is his ability to run around, scatter around the field, make plays, extend, and all that shit. I look for guys like Leatu Latu and Samson Ebukam like early on in the season, and every time we face a quarterback that wants to do that run around shit, we've let it happen way too often in the past. It's time to start cracking down on these guys, get them in the dirt early, force them to make those quick throws, quick decisions, because we can't give them all day. So that's going to be huge for us this season, is our pressure rate from our edges.
Yeah, you know what Ballard said. He said you wanna know about Leatu Latu, turn on that USC game. That was versus Caleb Williams. So Caleb Williams is very familiar with Leatu Latu.
He's about to get more familiar, man.
What'd you say, Zach?
I'm going to comment on Dave Stewart's Lawrence can be really good or really bad. He's Gardner Minshew, bro.
Until he plays us, then he goes 22
Gardner
Minshew
looks really, really good at times, and then looks really, really, really bad.
I think
Trevor Lawrence went with number 1 overall just because he came out of Clemson and played with a loaded roster. He hasn't lived up to expectations, but that's just my 2 cents. Don't tell a Jags fan; they might cry.
They're already, some of them have already seen.
Oh, they're talking about trade him, get rid of him, whatever. But I mean, look,
they're talking about paying him $55 million.
Oh, go ahead,
homie,
go ahead. That's fine,
bro. Jared Goff just got paid. That's criminal. Yeah. He just committed forgery against Detroit, dog.
He had a good year last year, but his bag was surprising. I'll say that. But yeah, man, I feel like we're half the reason that Lawrence looks good most of the time. He always plays well against us. It's so frustrating, bro.
It's because Gus don't do nothing. What surprise victory are you predicting and a stunning loss?
Ooh, I like that. Because we always have a couple that we should win and we don't. I'll say surprise victory. I don't know if it'd be a surprise, man. I think we beat Buffalo. That's not really a surprise to me. I think Detroit. I'll say Detroit because I know everyone's going to be favoring Detroit. I think we can beat Detroit. So I'll say that's a surprise victory. Stunning loss. Maybe Minnesota, man. I don't think shit about JJ McCarthy, but I'm looking at playing Justin Jefferson against our DBs. That might be a game that we expect to blow out. And like Atlanta last year, somebody just goes crazy and beats us. So really Minnesota might be a stunning loss.
Really appreciate that question, Cecil.
DeMarco, what's yours? I'll go last because my dad commented.
Yeah. As for me, I'm just looking over the schedule and seeing now. I'm gonna actually say our surprise is gonna be the Week 8 win on the road at Houston.
I like it.
As for me, I'm gonna say that'll be the surprise because I think that Week 1 we get the win. So the real surprise would be the fact that we sweep Houston. Everything else I feel like on our schedule is beatable. I mean, many fans might go crazy if we beat Buffalo and think that's a surprise or Miami. And I'll say disappointing. I would say it'd be Week 13 losing to the New England Patriots. I think that's something that could be a real surprise for us. It's going to be in December, very likely snowing there. Week 13, lose to a rookie. All Colts fans would be surprised and disappointing and just stunned by losing to that team.
My surprising win would be beating Miami because I really think we're going to come out and thump Miami. And then my surprising loss, if there is a loss, isn't really surprising anymore. It's losing to Jacksonville in Jacksonville.
Oh, that's not stunning at all.
You should probably pick another one because that one.
That's like a given, bro.
A surprising loss. All right. Losing to the Bears.
Ooh. That
I
would
think
hurt.
losing
That would hurt.
losing to the Bears, because that's
You know
a
what,
gimme.
though? You know what, though?
Like-
I will say everyone. Well, people look at Chicago like that. They won like 7 games last year. They're a competitive team, and a lot of
Sure.
their losses were within 1 score. So that's
but
to me, it's not a gimme. That should be a tough game.
it will be a tough
We
game.
should be able to beat up on it
but
because
you
it's a
should
rookie.
be able to beat up because you got a rookie
Yes.
quarterback.
Yes.
So in a way, it is a gimme because you got a rookie back there. Just
he's
don't lose.
in his third game.
Right. In his third game, just don't be a bonehead, and you should get this victory.
Yeah. So I agree. That would be a stunning loss because I fully expect us to thump them, but I could see it happen.
This is also against your former coach and Matt Eberflus.
We gotta beat loose, man. We gotta beat
You gotta get that win there. So yeah, I think all of those are pretty good from us. As far as what surprise victory predicting.
That's a good question. I like that.
Mr. Davis, I'd love to hear yours on Cincinnati over there. What would be your surprise victory and stunning loss would it be for you over there with your Bengals?
I don't even know their schedule, man. I haven't even looked at their schedule.
Just lucky they don't play us. All right, we would have got revenge. Would have got revenge for last year.
Have you guys seen any of the those schedule videos that they put out from their
Bro, the Chargers are savage, man.
They are
crazy.
crazy.
That social media team's a bunch of menaces, bro.
Did you see what they did y'all see what they did with the Michael Penix entering the DJ booth or whatever while Kirk Cousins was on the booth?
That's so funny, bro.
Oh my god! I was like, no, they did not, bro. I'm like, what? That's crazy.
I liked Buffaloes. They had like Josh Allen like living in a construction pit. It was just funny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, dude? So I haven't even seen ours. Did we even make one or?
Yeah, we had one, man. I thought it was going to be more hype. At least me personally, I wanted it to be more hype, but we did like some arts and crafts with some kids. Shane Steichen was all into it.
You're right. That was the best.
He deserved
for the kids,
the Oscar. So I appreciated what we did. I was hoping for a little bit more like we going to put a stranglehold on this division, but I appreciate it.
There's kind of a tradition there with Defoe, AR, and Grover doing the schedule release. Like Defoe and Grover been doing the schedule release now for like 3-4 years.
They should.
Wait, Pops, you got them going 17-0?
Get out of here, man.
17-1?
Come on.
Get out of here, Dad. Put the crack pipe down, please, Pops.
Ridiculous.
17 undefeated. Nice. Okay.
And that you want to talk about a dogfight division, man? That AFC North every year, in and out.
Is that the best division in football? Like,
it's going to be the AFC South this year,
homie. See,
I think Tennessee sells them. Tennessee sells and Jacksonville sells.
It's not going to happen this year. It's not. I promise you.
The NFC North though is dogs, man. I don't think we're there. We're close. All right,
we got a good division
because I still think Tennessee is a year away from being back to where they were. Jacksonville's a mess. I don't believe Trent Baalke is even competent as a GM. Dude can't draft. So like they're the worst roster in the AFC. And
I don't see that, man. Worst roster. I don't have that. I think they play 500 ball, man. They're a 500 team because 1 week they're going to look like a world beater. They're going to beat a team they shouldn't beat and look good doing it. And then the next week they're going to play against a sub 500 team and shit.
I have no faith in Jacksonville, so
I don't either. I don't like it.
We got to remember though that there's no 500 ball no more this year.
Well, you get what I'm saying though, like 8-9 wins, like 8-9,
right?
But I'm saying like you got to also remember like the fact that where Tennessee was at and what they won. They won 7 games with pretty much nothing left.
Nobody.
That roster was so
they're tough, man.
Right. So, I mean, to me, it's like a pretty good mix because you don't really know. You lose a coach of the year, right? You don't just lose a coach of the year and get better. But their roster improved extremely, in my opinion. So
I agree.
It's like a mix of like you don't really know, you don't. But
what are they going to do
to still put them around 7 to 9 wins, I think is perfectly reasonable.
I literally have Tennessee at 8 to 9 wins, DeMarco.
So that's what I'm saying. So if you look at Jacksonville, who should be competing for the division, Houston, who should be competing for the division, and Indy, who should be competing for the division,
right.
I don't see why we're far off from exactly what the AFC North is outside of proven quarterbacks. That's it.
The only reason why I disagree a little bit is because you could look at the AFC North and they have two teams that expect to compete for Super Bowls in the Ravens and the Bengals. And then the Browns are a playoff team for sure. And the Steelers are like a fringe playoff team. So we have four teams that are all competitive. It's a good division. I agree. I just give them that edge because of their top two are like Super Bowl contending teams. Our top two are like divisional round probably.
But see, Trev, I agree with you, but then I disagree because of the fact that when you look at where Indy and Houston were at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both teams, everybody was saying that both of these teams are winning less than 5 games.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you look at Tennessee, obviously they had to drop off, but they got better in a sense. And then so you sit there and you think, and you're like, well, what are they really going to be as far as competitors? And the AFC North, obviously there's no really disputing because you've seen what they've done for the past few years. Now, if you take away the proven quarterbacks part, look where Indy was at with a backup quarterback. And people can argue whatever the fuck they want, what they are. But if you go back and look, the Indianapolis Colts was the most explosive team in the NFL with him through 5 games that he played. So you can go send that home to whoever you want to. Then you look at Will Levis. Obviously, he came out with the first 4 TD games.
He had moments.
And then, he had some moments. So if he continues to develop, who knows? Trevor Lawrence, and to me is a question because it's like, are they going to pay him or not? But, they still got some.
Week out.
They got kind of I don't really know what their receiving core, but they're still what was it? Not Josh Allen, but their other
Tavon Walker.
Tavon Walker. He came through that stretch during the season to where their defense could show that they can get better. Yeah. It's like, to me, like when I look at this division and you look at Houston, obviously they made a lot of pieces, some big noise and whatnot. People were already calling them Super Bowl contenders last year, and CJ Stroud only threw 23 touchdowns. So to me, it's like, what's to say that we can't? You look during the season, what was it? The Colts. We beat Baltimore. We beat the Steelers. Obviously we lost to the Bengals and the Browns, but the Browns one was exactly the rest. And then the Bengals, we lost to a backup. And then you look at Houston. Houston, I want to say CJ Stroud outplayed Burrow. Clearly he was hurt, but still that was there. They didn't beat the Ravens, but they beat Cleveland, and then they also beat
Baltimore or
Pittsburgh. Exactly. So Pittsburgh ain't who they normally beat. And if you look at Pittsburgh's schedule, they were talking about it on ESPN. Pittsburgh's schedule is awful. It is murderer's row.
Yeah,
for
it's the third toughest schedule in the league this year.
And I don't even mean like y'all know I don't like schedule ratings and whatnot.
Yeah,
but if you look who they play on the back end of the season, it's not good for them. So to me, in my opinion, I really believe that the AFC South could literally be one of the one or top 2 toughest divisions in the NFL this season.
I'm with it. Going into this season, I agree. I was just saying, like past seasons and like up to now, you got to give it to the AFC North probably. But I agree with the outlook of this division. I said it actually last year when we drafted AR and like every team was getting their quarterback of the future and everything. I'm like, yo, this division is going to be a dogfight for the next decade plus. Considering CJ, Levis has his moments, whatever. I agree it's going to be a dogfight moving forward. I think we're going to see some of the best football in the league happening in the AFC South, and just hopefully the Colts are on top of it.
And I don't want to push aside the NFC West because we know what they do. And then I was going to say the East as well, and then the AFC North, the NFC North. But we play the AFC East and the NFC North, and we have a chance to prove it.
We usually do pretty well against those teams. Like
we own the NFC North. We won the division the last 2 years.
Even when they have better teams,
2 times we played them.
Exactly, and we're on a winning streak against the Packers, the Lions, the Bears, and the
No, we got beat by Minnesota with Ryan.
Oh yeah, we did lose to Minnesota.
We got beat with everybody.
I mean, but to me, that game, bro. The reason, me personally, I don't count that game because when we were winning, I was upset. So
Yeah, we were like,
to me,
what are we doing?
I'm like, what are we doing, bro?
You should have done this 2 months ago. Yeah.
exactly. So when we
I
started
was happy
losing,
when we lost.
like people trying to laugh at Colts fans about
We were
losing
happy, bro.
that
It
game
got us
when we were
AR.
up, bro. I'm like, no, go
Yeah.
keep scoring, Minnesota. I wanted the pick. So
Hey, Ursay sent the call and he said, y'all better lose this fucking game.
exactly.
I mean, it is kind of weird because that same year Minnesota offered Indianapolis like 7 draft picks and a player for the right to draft AR and
to go get AR, yeah.
and Ballard
Crazy,
was
bro.
like, nope. I
We
don't
got
know
our
if
guy, man. We got
I don't
our
know if
guy.
I could have done that if I was Chris Ballard. If a team is dumb enough to offer me a whole draft and a player, I'm not
Bro,
quite sure if I could have
especially
been all like,
Ballard, how much he loves his
Yeah,
picks and trades
man.
back. Like props to him. We've been heavy on Ballard. At least he
a
took the
whole
quarterback.
draft and a
I
player.
mean, see me, the reason why I personally say you can't do it is because it depends on how you feel about the player, right? You obviously got to love the player to want to stay
Right.
where you're at, right? And then when they're offering you the picks, you're like, ooh, maybe I should do it. But then when you look at your quarterback situation, do you really want to go
Right.
back to
No.
what you were dealing with?
Go
So it's
ahead and
like-
take that guy.
No.
exactly. So that's why
They were stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I mean, if it was any other year, I would have been pissed if Ballard didn't do it.
Yeah.
But you know,
Well,
like
if you think about who would have been the fourth quarterback this year, right? The fourth quarterback was Michael Penix.
yeah.
Would you not? Would you?
I'd
not
take that trade then.
Yeah,
I'd take that trade
exactly.
then.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And me
Yeah,
personally,
what are we talking
I love Michael Penix, but I don't think he should have went as early as 8. I feel like the
No.
first 3 were the 3. If you didn't get one of those 3, you were more like
Now
think-
you're just taking what you can get.
I think
Yeah.
Drake May is going to end up getting Gerard Mayo fired in New England.
think so?
Man. Oh,
You're not in on Drake May. I think he could be a good
homie,
quarterback potentially.
Him and Penix are fool's gold, and like I
Interesting.
love and respect Penix because he balled out at IU
Mm-hmm.
and he was a winner. But I think in
I
the
just-
long run, Penix is going to show you that unless he has elite receivers outside, he's going to throw a bunch of 50-50 balls and get picked. And then as for Drake May, Gerard Mayo said it earlier this week. He has a lot to work on. And by a lot, I mean, I truly expect them to sit him for a whole year to year and a half. Like,
You know what, though?
Jacoby Brissett's going to be the guy in New England this year.
Hey, that
Yeah,
plays
but
out well
see-
for us. But you
but
know what?
see-
I don't even hate that approach. If you sit your rookie for you, I don't mind that. I think
Neither
I mean
do I.
it's worked out for teams in the past.
I think it
don't
worked
hate
out-
that. It's not a sign of like he's trash
How
or
it-
anything.
How it worked out for AR this year, it sucks he got
Well,
hurt, but like
unfortunate.
he got hurt, but like I think he grew so much better that yes, reps are valuable, but mentally I think he's going to be that much better
Yeah.
because he was able to sit and see things and do things that way. Because once he gets
could be
out on the
beneficial.
we've seen it. Once he's on the field, dude's a baller. After that Rams game, I was like, oh my God, the Colts got one.
Bro,
So-
I was having Andrew Luck chills watching that
So-
game.
You're
bro.
singing a
I'm
victory
not gonna
lap,
lie
bro.
after that game.
Him on the field was never my concern. It was what will AR be able to do mentally in the system. If
I
not
do-
this, what's this? What is if answer A isn't there, what is B and C? And if he was able to do that, then we gotta go because after
I do want to say, Zach, though, like I want to say that kind of contradicts a little bit because of the fact that what was it? I was saying what was it? I was gonna say because I expected or wanted AR to sit for those first 2 games of the season. That was my prediction, that he sits for those first 2 games because I thought it would have been really important. But I do want to go back to the point where you said Drake May would get him fired because if he's not playing his rookie season or most of it, then that kind of saves him. Because me personally, I just think that when you bring in a new coach and you think about when you got Bill Belichick there, what's the expectations? It's not to be a middle of the pack team
No,
or early
right.
pick
They're
team.
12
Like,
wins
I wanna
and shooting
say-
for the Super Bowl.
I want to say their highest pick over the 20 plus years that Bill Belichick was like
20
number
something.
8. No, it was like number 8. That was Gerard Mayo, but that was because Tom Brady got hurt.
Yeah, that's
And
like
then
a one.
after that, they were picking in the 20s every year. So
yeah.
when you
If
got
not
a Gerard
32.
Mayo, you got to make sure he fits with his quarterback as well. And I mean, I don't know who their OC is, so I don't want to try and dive too much into it like I know. But I just think that when you're going to a rookie quarterback and your head coach, that rotation there is so important to the team because you look, for example, with a Bobby Slowick and with a CJ Stroud, when you have that type of mixture, it works really well. When you have is it Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah.
Is it no,
The
not
Browns?
Stefanski?
No, he's the Browns head
it's
coach.
it's the Minnesota Vikings head coach. Why am I?
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin O'Connell. With whoever his quarterback was, when you look, even when he had Dobbs, when he had other guys, those guys just look like they could play because of him being that guy that worked that mixture out. So I just think that he won't get fired just because I think New England will take the
I don't think
time.
Mayo will get fired immediately. I think Drake May in the long run will end up getting Mayo fired in the long run. Like, it's not a 1 year thing. I think
that's what I thought you meant.
I think Drake May's a bum.
Damn.
Like, he's gonna be like Mitch Trubisky, dog.
That's a hot take.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I liked what I saw from him.
I would say I disagree because he was my QB2 for a lot of the year. I came around about midseason just because Jaden Daniels.
Once I saw Jaden Daniels, I was all like, "This guy's nuts."
Jaden Daniels was dragging 1,000-pound anchor with chains on when he was at LSU during that season.
Forced us to win games.
And that's why I kind of changed who my QB2 was. But real quick, we got some comments in here from Wade. Wade saying he was glad he's not the only one. I believe that was when we were talking about the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
And then Wade also says, you guys think our corners will step up this year? I feel our pass rush put them in a horrible position last year.
I do, man. I do think our corner step up. I think the pass rush is a big part of it. I think bringing in a guy like Latu Latu speeds up that edge rush and helps those guys out in coverage. Also, I think just the experience that they were able to get, mainly focusing on Jalen Jones and Juju Brents, I think they're going to carry a lot of that into this next year and be better because of it. So I think we see an improvement. And I think they're around middle of the pack as far as cornerbacks are ranked this year.
What about you, Zach?
I think they'll improve. I think individually you'll see a lot of improvement. I'm still on the fence with Juju. Not that I don't think he can play corner. I just think he's better suited to safety. I don't know. Maybe it's because like 6'4" corners are like so rare, and the fact that we have one is just like wild to me. But I think he's better suited for safety. But overall, I think our corners will be vastly improved compared to what happened last year.
For sure, yeah. As for me, man, I think our corners will step up this year because I feel like our pressure rate will be better. I think naturally you'll be able to get them in better positions. Obviously, with a year of what they had of last year, you get Dallas Flowers back. You don't have to go to some of these practice squad guys as much. So I definitely think they'll be able to help, and I feel like our pass rush will be better as well.
I think too. We talked about a little bit earlier, just some of the inexperienced QBs and rookie QBs and whatnot that we expect to be facing this year. I think that also plays in favor of our DBs, where hopefully they can take advantage of some of those situations that our D line should be able to put those guys in and forcing them to make those quick decisions. As long as those guys are playing tight coverage, there will be these opportunities to get picks, get pass breakups, what have you. So look for them to take advantage of those situations in those games.
For sure, man. Like to hear that. So we're gonna wrap it up here real soon, but just want to get you guys' take on one last thing before we wrap up. So, as you guys have seen, we play a lot of rookie quarterbacks, and then we obviously had our division. So I would like to know from you guys who are going to be your QB ones as far as the AFC South as a division, and then we play Caleb Williams. We play J.J. McCarthy. We play Drake May. So we get to see a few of these guys. Who's going to be your QB1 as a rookie? And who's going to be your QB1 in the division? Why don't you start us off, Trey?
Just quarterbacks we're playing or league-wide?
No. Quarterbacks in our division. Who's going to be QB1 out of the 4? And then out of all the first 6 rookies. So you got Caleb Williams. You got
okay. Yeah.
McDaniels, you got Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., and Bo Nix.
So I think in the division, I think it's a 1A, 1B with CJ and AR. And that's a credit to how good I think CJ is going to be because I fully expect AR to come in and dominate. But I think CJ will have the numbers and have the wins to be able to have himself in that position. But I think they're neck and neck, man. I think that would be an exciting battle. CJ will probably finish, I don't know, I see him having around 30 touchdowns, 8 to 10 picks, whatever, 4,000 plus yards. And I think AR is just a little bit less than. But that's also partly because he's going to run so much and get so many yards rushing. So 1A, 1B in the division there.
Right.
And then as far as the rookies go, LSU bias, call it what it is. I think Jay Daniels is going to go crazy, man. I mean, the Commanders suck. Washington suck. We know what it is over there. But that dude's going to make some highlight plays. He's going to go crazy. His numbers might not be crazy early on just because of the roster he's dealing with. But I fully expect that guy's going to be a star in this league. I really do believe that. So I think Jaden Daniels is going to outplay Caleb Williams, yes.
For sure. Zach, who do you got, man? Who's going to be your QB1 in the division, and who's going to be your QB1 as a rookie?
QB1 as a rookie. I was high on him coming out. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I think Caleb Williams is that dude. Whether he paints his nails or not, I really think he's that guy. I think the Bears finally got a dude, like a dog, a difference maker. So, like, I think he's going to start the year as QB1 and finish the year as QB1. No discredit to Jaden Daniels or any of those guys. I just think Caleb Williams gonna show you as the year goes on. He's a number one draft pick for a reason. Sure. In our division, I'm going, and I love C.J. Stroud. I loved him at Ohio State. I wanted Indianapolis to get him, but it don't matter. It's QB2. I'm going Richardson at QB1 because I think Richardson comes out and puts on a absolute show, talking like Lamar Jackson. I'm throwing for – this is my dream scenario. I said it here on the podcast. Make it go viral. Like it up, share it, call me crazy, call me biased. Richardson, I want 3,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing, 20 passing touchdowns, like 10 rushing touchdowns, something crazy, something sexy like that. MVP, Super Bowl champion, comeback player of the year, offensive player of the year. I want a clean sweep. Realistic, probably not, but I think Richardson's going to put the world on notice.
Absolutely.
And then in division, anything after 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, it don't matter. It can literally, Will Levis can finish last.
Yeah, that's why I left for that QB1.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't care. I think Richardson's going to show everyone that he's QB1 in the division going forward. For
sure, man. As for me, man, QB1, man, I would really like to put Michael Penix at QB1, man. To me, he was the guy. He was yeah, exactly. That's that. So for me, I thought he was one of the best to play in college last year. Really like what the kid did, but I don't think he'll see the field his rookie season. I don't even know if he'll see it his second season. So that's why I can't put him one. But as for me, you guys know, I probably said it a few times, but I think Caleb Williams, I don't want to put the term on him. I'm not even going to say it out loud. But anyways, I just think he'll be the QB1. I think he will be that dude. Like, I think
you think he's a little Mahomie.
I didn't say it. But yeah, I think he will be the QB1 as a rookie. I just think dude will be that good. And then if you look at receiving corps for a QB1 as a rookie coming into a class, it has never been this good for anybody. I don't care who the quarterback is. I just think that he got too many pieces for him to fail. If he fails with this receiving corps, he's a bust. A grade A bust. He'd be the biggest bust that you've ever seen. It'd be bigger than Jamarcus Russell. So, I mean, I just personally just think there's too many weapons. There's too much to succeed with over there. And then you get the 9 pick and Rome Odunze over there to add to DJ Moore and add to Keenan Allen. Like, I just think he will be QB1. I just think it'd be too easy. And that's not to say that I don't love Jaden.
He doesn't have the weapons. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, he's got Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson.
But yeah, I think he does still have some weapons. But I'm worried about his offensive line. And kind of how reckless he can get a little bit at times. I hope he's not jumping into anybody. In
Try to
Washington.
flip over people and shit.
And then Drake May, I love Drake May. He, like I said before, he was my QB2. I really like these top 3 guys, but I just think New England's a dumpster fire right now as far as weapons goes and offensive scheme. I just don't see the chances for it there. So QB1 for me is Caleb Williams. As for the division, the top 4, man, it's going to sound really biased because it's coming from a coach show, but I think Anthony Richardson, I think if guys stay healthy, I don't think anybody was on his trajectory that he was on if he stayed healthy. I mean, the guy gave you 7 touchdowns in 4 quarters. So, I mean, it really just goes that far and simple. If he can stay healthy, I think he can go crazy. And so that's just where I'm at. I think he can be QB1. Obviously, I think it can be neck and neck with CJ Stroud and him just because CJ Stroud has a ton of weapons too. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm completely biased to this. I think CJ Stroud obviously is the better pure passing quarterback. The way he can do it above the shoulders, I think that already gives him the neck up. But I just think when you add in the legs and what he can do as far as rushing touchdown-wise, it's almost like if you look at Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes for the MVP this year, I would have gave the MVP to Patrick Mahomes. But when you see a guy like Lamar Jackson, what he can do with his legs, he got the MVP because of that. So that's why I think I would give the edge to AR. So that's where I'm at with that. We do have a few more here real quick.
Though, we get to watch this QB matchup for the next decade plus, man. This is just good football, bro. It's CJ beautiful. Versus AR for the next 10 years. Come on.
You love it. Dave Stewart is saying here we may be able to cut a corner for a number of reasons. I still would like I personally would like a vet or a safety still. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on this one, but your dad is coming here, Zach. He's saying, when does Mitchell take over Pittman as top receiver? I got it at year 2, me personally.
Yeah, I think year 2 he'll end up being top receiver, and Pittman can slide over and just do what Pittman does best, which is possession and work the middle of the field. But this year, it's Pittman's the money guy. He's going to be wide receiver 1.
I'm not sure if he does necessarily, but that's just a testament to how good I think Pittman is. But I absolutely think they can beat for it. I think very realistically, a year or 2 from now, we have 2 1,000-yard receivers in those 2. So,
me personally, I see it as once Mitchell starts to get into where he can really feel his rollout. I almost feel like it goes back to when Marvin Harrison was the guy and Reggie Wayne was the 2. That's what I feel like it would be for me, and I think Mitchell will be that guy coming in year 2.
I do think Mitchell has a higher ceiling than Pittman had. Like Pittman is a star, man. I love Pittman. I ring the bell on it every week, but Mitchell I think has a higher ceiling if he can live up to it.
For sure. And then Wade is saying here, let's go. And then Dave Stewart throws in the last comment there. I think Sam is done here. I think it's time to move on. I think we talked about that last week with Slovis and Bean. So we also think that might be the time. But, hey, man, we appreciate everybody who came through. Go back and check us out on all platforms. We are kicking with the crew. Shout out to ZTV, like Trev is showing there. We got the merch. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate my guys, Trev and Zach, for coming through with me. Man, this was a great show. Appreciate all you guys who came through, gave us something to work with. We appreciate everybody. Know it gets slow. But as always, for the shoot.
Go Colts.
Bye.
Second down, he fakes the Taylor, fires over the middle, completes. Pittman